Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show. Yeah. Escape to the metaverse. Better act like you know. Yeah. You are now tuned into the Matthew and Rizzle show. Yeah.
Hey everyone, before we begin this week's episode of the Matthew and Rizzle Show, just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Proof of Beauty. Proof of Beauty is an experimental digital experience studio. The blockchain is their canvas and the tokens are their brush. You can learn more about Proof of Beauty by checking out pob.studio. You can follow them on Twitter as well at PRRF Beauty. That's PRRF Beauty on Twitter and pob.studio on their homepage to learn more about their projects like Hash, London, and Publico. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Okay, Stellabelle, welcome to the Matthew and Rizzle Show.
Hey, thank you for having me so early in the morning.
Yeah, seriously, thank you for waking. I hope you're waking up at least, not just like staying up all night to talk to us. But really, really excited to talk to you today. Obviously, we have the big drop on Nifty coming up, the CryptoStellas and all that. But before we dive into all those details, I think it would be great if you could kind of reintroduce yourself to our listeners, since so many people in this space already know who you are and love the work that you've been creating and your personality on Twitter and all that. But just for the 0.1% of folks who may not know who you are, tell them a little bit about who Stellabelle is.
All right. So my name is it sounds really nice, but I'm not a nice person. I'm just joking. Okay, let's see. I entered the crypto space in 2016. I was a tech and science writer for Interesting Engineering. I ran into Steemit. I went in there and I just never came out. I've been earning crypto since 2016. And with my newfound crypto wealth, I'm just kidding. I decided to start a crypto artist collective called Slothicorn. It was on a different blockchain, but it was like a proto NFT community where we had a whole team of curators. We educated artists about super rare and all the different projects that were just being born at the time. And that's really when I kind of laid down my foundations for what I considered would be the future, which was my project was Creative Commons, which was not popular at the time at all with any artist. But I wanted to be a part of the open source and Creative Commons movements. I looked at my project as like the artistic twin of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin gave rise to all the shit coins. So, we should be Creative Commons as well. It's funny now, it's 5 years later and people are like, oh, here's my CCO thread. So what my basic philosophy was back then has now kind of become realized. So that brings me a lot of, I guess, joy that a lot of the things that I was visualizing happening back then have happened. However, a little different scenarios with regard to how it went mainstream and kind of the state of what's going on right now. But so I've been involved in this space for 6 years, I guess, in crypto. And I started my CryptoStellas project about 10 months ago when the 10K PFP apocalypse occurred. That was the impetus for me, because I was very depressed about what was happening. I'm glad it went mainstream, but then the way that it went mainstream was different than what I thought. That was the reason for the depression. I I didn't see like the Fiverr artists coming in and doing PFPs as being part of the vision. And so it was just, anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but that was the reason why I made my project, which I have been diligently working on for now 10 months. I never stopped. Like, I'm still doing the same pace I started with, really. So,
Stella, I don't know how we like initially met or became friends, but at the current state of the NFT space, I'm like just so grateful that I can just like slide into your DMs periodically, just like cursing like a crazy person. And, and you could be like, I get it, Rizzle.
I'm the
very,
same
very
way. I don't know
that.
how I found you on Twitter, I think, from your tweets. I was like, oh my God, someone's telling the truth that I know. And yeah, it was so weird because I feel like I need, like, we need to have more spaces where we're just talking about how we feel about stuff, really. Just how it affects us. Because mentally, it almost forced me to leave. I don't know if people realize that, but I was almost ready to just say, okay, this isn't for me. I need to do something else. Like, I just can't.
This is probably like a good segue to like talk about what you've been working on recently in the CryptoStellas and everything, because I feel like the CryptoStellas project specifically is like holding a mirror up to the current state of affairs, like in the NFT space, which like sometimes it feels like very, and I feel like I can identify with your plight. It's very lonely out there sometimes, saying some of these things that it feels like everyone can recognize this reality, but nobody wants to put it out there. And you are not putting it out there. I was joking around with you earlier. I'm like, yo, your project is going like straight for the jugular.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the weird thing that I guess people don't understand is that I've been an artist practically my whole life. I learned to draw in math class in college. I would doodle because I was so bored. And I was like, oh my God, I can actually draw? What's going on? And I felt like there was this weird window into things that I was not conscious of. So it was like instant connection, direct link to my subconscious mind. And that's kind of when I discovered that hey, I am creative, like, because I'd been told in elementary school that I couldn't draw or something, and then it was just like, that's why I'm like a big supporter of people's creativity. So I'm like, you know what, you have it inside of you. You just got to get it out, So art has always been for me. Like I said, I've been an artist my whole life, even though I had stupid jobs along the way. Is that it's where a place where I could tell the truth. It's like, even if I was lying in my day jobs, art was like the only place I had left where I could speak my mind truthfully. And then when I get into the crypto art world and like the NFT artists, I realize that everyone's just making art so that people will buy it. It's not like, it doesn't have any like real symbols or like the real, what they think. Like art is just a language. It's a direct link to what you think, what your philosophies are and how you view the world. And so the CryptoStellas that I've been making recently, I actually vowed to myself that I have to, for every negative person that I'm making fun of, that I can't stand their philosophy or lack thereof, I have to find some neglected, wonderful person in the crypto art space who's doing good work that no one fucking knows about because they don't make the headlines. So this is a very human problem that I identified within myself, which is you look at who people are worshiping for the wrong reasons. Mostly they're the false prophets, and then they also rake them over the coals. And there's lots of people, I don't need to name them, that have this kind of quality. They're psychopaths basically, or they're narcissists usually. It's a certain personality type that attracts this, that demands this attention, right? Our attention. So we usually then focus on them, and all the people that are actually like running things in the background, which by running things, I mean helping people, providing unity and like support to a group of people, the culture creators, the people that actually make life worth living. Those people are all in the background and no one can see them. So I made a vow to myself for every nasty individual that I decide to paint, that just drives me insane, like I can't let it go type of thing. Then I have to force myself to, those feelings have to emerge, but then I have to find someone that's hidden away, no one knows about, who's doing all this amazing work, but it's not in your face, right? It's not flashy. It's like usually very intelligent, and it's usually very supportive of people. These types of people actually are the true leaders of culture and society. And the people that are the flashy narcissists, they are not the leaders of society and culture. They are the vampires. I have all of this language that I've just, this language emerged from the need for me to survive, because I cannot survive in that vampire driven, blood sucking world, which actually is the mainstream. If you really look at how celebrity culture works, how people give their attention to all the celebrities, that whole world has moved in. I mean, it's all combined into one NFT space. Like different celebrities bring different, they're not all vultures or whatever, but they definitely suck the air out of the room. I mean, look at Madonna and how she chose Beeple to partner with. And I actually haven't covered that. There's a lot of things that are on the background burner for me, and I'm still thinking about it. So I tend to think for like months. There was one piece of artwork, like Rizzle, I was planning to do you for a long time, and I was just like, what? How do I do this? And then I realized I need to choose these saints because, the people that speak the truth, like the way that you feel without thinking about how you're going to be perceived, are extremely rare, because if you look at, so there's this woman called Teal Swan. It talks about how people cannot see your excellence if they do not desire to see your excellence. It's mostly talking about how people raise their children, but her best skill, holding up a mirror to whatever reality, the situation. And she noticed that like most people don't want to see it. So she also realized that the only people that like her work are also the people that want to see reality, which is they want her best skill, they want her excellence. And so, Rizzle, if you really kind of have this knowledge of that most people want comfort, then what you're offering them will not be desired or appreciated. And I'm in that same camp. When I saw that video, I thought, that's what I've been doing my whole life. I show what I see as reality without filters. I don't filter it to have manners or be nice or anything like that. I have a direct connection between what I'm thinking and my art, and I bypass society. I bypass all those little filters that most people use to create comfort. And then when you come in contact with 90% of the people, that's why you're getting resistance from them, because what your main skill, my main skill, what we are good at is not desired by most people. It's only a small percentage. So I realized that when I started my art project, I'm only making it for the small percentage, and I had to be okay with that. I never wanted to go mainstream with my project. Like that was never the desired result. What I wanted to do is reach the people who want to see what I have, what I feel like is the true reflection of society. And it may not be true, but it's like when I started to find people that were similar, like had similar viewpoints, and I thought, I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. This is really what people are feeling, but they can't say it, right? They won't allow themselves to speak their minds. And that's kind of when I get really depressed about the world and people. So then I have to go into a cave, which is my own little world, and I make up, I've made up this new term called Wagmi Empire now. And this is going to be like a new theme for me. I just love it that there's this little empire that I'm not a part of it. I'm outside of it, so I can make fun of it. It allows me a peace of mind where I feel like I'm in control, because the reality is I am not in control and manipulating the masses. I'm not part of the celebrity NFT complex.
Like you were saying though, with art being its own language, right? And there's a lot of people out there that probably have been feeling a similar way to you, like when it comes to the PFP apocalypse, as you put it, right? But a lot of people, it's hard for them to express exactly why they're feeling a certain way. And I feel like the duality that this collection of CryptoStellas contains, which is like that one half sort of parody of like the state of the PFP state, and then a critique kind of highlighting the actual, like, the people that you feel and a lot of us feel should be highlighted and talked about instead of the sinners, the saints, to use your language. I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
that duality just comes
yeah.
across so clearly in the whole project. And then especially what I think you put together for the Nifty Gateway drop on August 8th, it contains it very, very kind of poignantly and very, very clearly in how you've kind of structured it, featuring a couple sinners at offensively low prices, and then a lot of saints making up the
Yes,
rest of pieces.
I did. I think that you were smart in helping me figure out um, that I'm really focused on the people that are the neglected, wonderful, somewhat genius people. I look at them as sort of like geniuses, really, because they they've persisted in the face of all these other choices they could have made. Easy money, right? They chose the harder
Mhm,
path. uh So, like, yeah,
mhm.
we only have two. I mean, I want people to know I'm not religious. I use religious symbols only because people understand what it means instantly, and I don't have to explain myself, right? Like, you see an image of, like a Jesus or whatever, and you know exactly what it means. And so I'm using those symbols for my own philosophies, which are based in crypto. Like, I'm if any religion exists, I'm a crypto religious person. Like, that's it. Which is it just gives you power to send money to people. Like, I can make a difference in the world by just not using banks. I can I've already done that. I already know it's real. I've helped people from all over the world, and just the ability to send someone in Nigeria, like, money, like, within 5 minutes. That's that's what I'm talking about. It's like the basics, back to the basics of, this is world changing, but it's not world changing if you're getting banned on OpenSea, right? And
Mhm.
you happen to live in Venezuela. That's not life changing. That's life destroying, right? That's I don't know what that is. Like, that was never understood that would be happening. But yeah, so what I'm scared of when the Nifty Gateway drop. So I don't know if people realize, but selling is very difficult for me. It always has been. Um, because I'm forced to confront the value that society has right now. That's why I'm scared of, a little bit nervous about that, because some people will not be valued in the way that I value them. See, because it's money is just a way of people showing their own value system. And so that's why, it's kind of, it makes me nervous because what if people don't even value me as an artist, right? So I have to, when you see the prices and the numbers, then now my value is now being defined by other people's value system. So it's like, I want the message to be spread of why I'm doing this, because I feel like I think there's something for everyone. People can laugh, and I think it was Crypto Una that was cracking up about some of my, I guess it was like art chick and stuff. And I was just like thinking to myself, I hope they realize I don't hate anyone. I'm not harboring hate for people. It's not like, that's not the type of person I am. Although people might think that. It's just that I have to process everything, and so I have to process why I feel uncomfortable. So there's a few people in the NFT space who are at the top of the food chain with regards to how much, like, attention and power that they can yield. And I have to, when I feel uncomfortable, I sit there with it and I just try to analyze, why am I uncomfortable? Why does this person make me feel this way? What's behind that? And that's why I do the art that I do. I
Yeah, I would.
process discomfort, and a lot of people just don't. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
No, I kind of wanted to drill down into those mixed emotions that you're feeling, especially when you're talking about like the values that people
Yeah,
will assign to some of the pieces and the values that we've kind of set for some of the works as well, because it's a big collection, right? It's a
yeah.
Michael Jordan 23 piece collection. There's 18 different one of one auctions. There's three separate open editions, and then there's two offensively low priced drawings for the sinners that you featured in this particular collection.
Hmm.
Um, and the one of one auctions, obviously, people will value however they want over the course of each work's auction life, where like 9 pieces will be open for 48 hours, another 9 will be open for 24 hours. But let's talk about the offensively low price drawings and then the three open editions that we priced at
Yeah,
$77, because there's
yeah.
meaning behind why we priced and valued those works at those values. I'm just wondering if you can
Hmm.
unpack that intent for folks.
Well, let's talk about Logan Paul for starters. When I was trying to figure out what was the most like lowest value to society as a whole, his project Crypto Zoo. So I did a deep dive into that project, and when you look at it, I think it was started 6 months ago. It says content not available still for a lot of the NFTs in this project. And then I thought, well, why is that? Like, how come it doesn't show up? And then I was kind of reading a little bit more, and it sounds like um, just these images just were grabbed from Google Images and then kind of Photoshop these random pictures of animals. Like, they're just photos. And I thought, a 5-year-old, looks like they got a hold of this project, and that was his contribution to society, or humanity, is just doing a really crap job. And I thought, wow, this is great. And he earned how many millions? And so then I look at it, everything as a whole. My project has a total amount of 33 ETH, and he's got millions of dollars. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you about how people value celebrity, and then an artist that's been committed for 10 months solid of showing reality? Like how is that? How is this? How is this a world that we can navigate in as artists who are committed? Like, I'm 100% committed. Like, I will never, I don't think I could ever leave the space, because I really helped people, artists, crypto artists, navigate in the space. And I don't want to go on this list of how many people I've helped, but it's rather large at this point in the crypto side of things. Back in Steemit days, my group paid out $50,000 worth of crypto to artists who were just like getting into the space. I don't think people realize that. And that was all of my own money. And then back in Steemit, I mean, I've paid people's apartments. I've helped people, make bridges in their village, etc. The list is endless. And so when I see people throwing money at, Crypto Zoo and Logan Paul and all the various scam artists and neglecting me and what I'm doing, can you imagine? Can you imagine how I would feel? And so I think when people start to realize that, number one, I'm not going away, even though you neglect me over and over again for reasons that I don't, I'm not going to give into my anger. I'm going to release that, but then I'm going to make you look at it. And that's what's very different about myself. I have immense passion. It's deep, it's not some thing that I can just let go of. I would be doing this no matter what, I think, at this point. And my focus will be changing, once I finish this, I will be doing something else. Like I have projects already lined up to work with different people that are more computer savvy. I mean, like coding savvy than myself. So people, I think, maybe don't realize that this is a project. It has an ending point and a beginning. But I'm going to complete it. Then I'll be working on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I mean, this is what I've been doing for 6 years. Like I've literally been starting projects and, I'm pretty bad at ending stuff, but this one I'm totally committed to because I wanted to see if I could actually follow through with that. But
so Stellabelle, I'm like sitting here listening to you talk, and like honestly, the whole like conversation you're having about like value and like assigned value versus like society's assigned value is like just sort of like a fascinating thing to think about in general as someone who's like not really an artist, even though I've like done stuff within the NFT space. But like, and also just listening to you talk, like, I mean, you're like seriously like a true visionary of the space. And we're like so far out in front of everybody's vision for like a lot of things. And I feel like because of that have suffered the same fate as a lot of us who are way out in front, which is that you sort of get overlooked once like, the big players with the big money come in and want to sort of like, co-opt the stuff or whatever. So saying all that to say, like, the people, including myself, who are included as the saints in your collection, who, like you said, have like sort of been the historically like underappreciated or like marginalized individuals, like a lot of them who have championed the space for, many years before, all the corporations came in. Playing devil's advocate a little bit to say that I don't feel like it really matters. Like I'm out there, like the Lord Rizzle piece is going to be out there for sale. And, for me personally, just being like recognized by a visionary like yourself within the space, like put in that context in a mainstream platform for everybody to see, like, it almost doesn't even matter like what it doesn't matter like what it sells for. I feel like, this is the fact that this has been recognized on this scale by somebody at all. I'm just like, dude, I don't care if it's like right. $8. I'm like, just so appreciative. And I feel like a lot of other people who are included in this drop, like as a saint, probably feel similar to I do. Like I didn't ask for this. I wasn't expecting this, but I'm like, dude, thank God someone who has the ability to put this in front of a lot of people is just doing it and like doesn't give a shit and is just putting it out there and it doesn't matter about the money. And so like I know there's like a lot of wheels in motion and like Matt has helped put them in place with regards to like figuring out the monetary value of the drop and like how to put that out there and everything, and that's like probably worth, digging into just to clarify so that people are listening to this know exactly how it's going to work. But as someone who's like, in it, I'm like, just appreciative for someone with your clout and like capabilities, even like doing this shit in the first place. I'm just like, thank God, man.
I'm so glad to hear that. Sometimes I don't really feel like I have clout. I mean, I don't even like the word.
But you do
like,
amongst us.
Kind of shy.
You do amongst
away.
us, though.
Okay,
I feel like that's what matters.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like amongst the people who you're like that slim percentage, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Stellabelle, but I'm like,
no, go ahead.
That slim percentage that you're making this project for, I feel like it crushes.
Yeah.
All those people like get it, like hands down. So I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. It goes back to, I have to desire to see what you're about, like what you're offering, in order to value you. Like if I didn't share your similar, philosophy, I wouldn't be able to understand you, and then I wouldn't be able to make art of you. Like it's back to that thing. So like you have to almost embody the same substance or the philosophy or something in order to reflect back, in a positive light, someone like yourself or like Mikkel. I really feel like Mikkel doesn't get any credit. Like, I don't even think artists know the artist residency. Like, you have to read all this stuff, information. It's hard to get to that point of understanding what she does. Like, that's why she's very, yeah. You see what I mean, though? Like, I feel like it's the more, the smarter and the more like good deeds you're doing, the harder it is for people to see it. It's not accessible. And so that's what this Nifty Gateway drop is about as well. It's almost like I'm making accessible the people that don't, promote themselves. I'm like a promoter of, and so, that goes back to a lot of the work I did. I used to work for an inventor back in California. This kind of relates to everything, is that I met this inventor and he was suicidal. Like he was going to commit suicide. And he made this toothpaste that actually solves the problem of plaque using a natural source of, anyway, I don't want to go into too much, but when I realized, like, he told me his invention and I was just like, this is crazy. I said, I'm willing to try this toothpaste, see. And it was, it took away that film in the morning, how you stuff on your teeth. Well, I didn't have that. It's natural too. It's not some weird chemical substance. It's using natural sulfur, which is a antibacterial. Anyway, the whole point was that that's kind of how I see myself, as like a messenger. When I find something hidden away that's like amazing, I have to bring it out into the open, like so other people can find it. It's like I'm exploring all the time. And so people like Nilly Coins, like when I found her project, it was like so weird because she's so smart. I ask her stuff. She's like a philosopher kind of, because when I get upset about things, she says, well, it is necessary for this to go mainstream so that we may do our, she's so rational, like logical and everything. And so when I find these people who are just like so brilliant, I just think, my God, people should know what kind of value, like these intelligent beings that are around us who are hidden because they don't believe in like promoting themselves in a cheap way. And they don't even care to. It's almost like they're above it all. And I just think I need to get to that place, because that's kind of the sweet spot. She doesn't seem that rattled by things, and I appreciate people who are of a higher intelligence that I can, ask for advice from. And so anyway, that's a little backstory. I don't think people even know who she is, but she started those art coins, those, and like she's one of the first ones in 2014. The reason that people can't wrap their head around it is that it's mixed with a lot of like complicated information, and they don't want to take the time to, wade through it all. And so I don't know where I was
What I
going
like
with that.
about what you've done though is that you've curated this group of folks, the saints and sinners, right? Like normally we think about curators as folks that curate artists and their work, right? But you've sort of like judo flipped that to, I mean, your own artistic practice and like this very, very specific collection. And you're talking about Nicole, vertical crypto art, and is it Nihils or
Nilly? It's Nilly Lerner. Nilly Lerner.
Two of the folks that you've included in like the auction portion of this. And since it is such a big collection, I'm wondering if you can kind of go through the individual folks that you've highlighted in the auction portion, and then the open edition, and then the drawing. I think that'll help capture it for folks.
Yeah, let me start with the open edition. So I thought long and hard about who I was going to choose for the open edition. And it came down to myself as Saint Stellabelle, which is kind of funny because, it's a joke. I don't think of myself as a saint, but I just had to do it for this purpose. Lord Rizzle and how did I name this? Colburn Mocha Jesus. And it was so funny because with all three of us, like out of everyone that I know, like Colburn, he doesn't hold back. I met him in Spaces actually, and he just released this, his true feelings, which were negative. And I thought it really stuck out. I thought, wow, he's breaking social norms. And then same with Rizzle. Rizzle, you break social norms on Twitter. And then I thought, wow, I'm breaking social norms in art. And so I thought the three open editions, we should have neutralizing effects on people's Ethereum wallets. And that's why I chose all three of us for the open editions, because I thought our ability to neutralize toxic environments, which are people's wallets filled with crap, is immense. So there's this whole, very philosophical reason I chose three of us as open editions, each for $77. So it's basically anyone is able to be saved. That's why I'm also making a religious joke out of all this stuff, is that you can save yourself by buying the open editions, and you don't have to be wealthy. You don't have to fight people for an auction. You can, and really the three best ones, I think, are the open editions, which is sort of the opposite thing to do, right? People save the one of ones as, oh no, these are the real values here. Actually, I made the open edition ones. It was very difficult too, because my distaste for spreading things around is immense. My collection is one of ones. Okay. So that was it. Colburn Bell, founder of Mocha, Lord Rizzle, which your title is so long that I can't manage your title. You've done so many different things. Let me go through the people of the rest of the auctions here. I got to open it up here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we've got let me go over the 24-hour auctions first. So these are going to be the 24-hour auction. So we have Hard Rock Nick, because as you know, I hired Hard Rock Nick to do my promo video. And that's something I'd been wanting to do for a while, because I think he sort of embodies everything that I'm not. And that's why it's satirical. That's why I'm doing the thing. I'm using the same shell that a lot of other people are using, but I'm doing it for sarcasm, sort of for sarcasm, because he doesn't represent me. He's the most, that's why I wanted him to speak those words in the videos. If you're filthy rich, you can save yourself by buying one of my pieces of art, which is, it's a whole other thing. Then we have the founders, are not the found. I'm not sure. I know that Benoit is the founder of the French. I call it the French Mocha, and actually, they started the first museum of crypto art in 2018. I don't know if people realize that, so I made sure and put that in the description. So it's Thuy. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, but they're the main people that I see working to create an amazing museum of crypto art. They do amazing things. They're very underappreciated what they do. I've got Yayoi Kusuma as Kusuma, I think, as the person that is very upset, sad that that guy keeps doing the Bored Ape Yacht Club impersonations on Twitter. She's crying about that. Azuki Rect, actually, this isn't really a person. This is just a person who, when the truth came out about the founder of Azuki and how he just went from like a PFP project and abandoned them all. Everyone knows Zagabond. So that was that drama. We've got Ryder Rips on there. I got blocked by him recently, so I think it was maybe because of this, but no one escapes, what I really feel, and I feel that I like what Ryder Rips is doing. But I think he is really into himself so much that he's easy to poke fun at. That's why it says zero chance Yuga ever sues me. I captured that from Twitter. He did say that like the day before he was served papers or whatever, or a couple days. But I mean, I have dual feelings about people, like, which is rare. I can like someone, what they're doing, but I can also find something to make fun of at the same time. I mean, people can make fun of stuff about me too, and I'll just laugh about it because it's probably true. Then we have the, oh God, the Milady thing. That's a whole other, you can read about it. It's really horrific. I lost a lot of brain cells on that one. Lots of trauma I experienced just reading about Rohit Okandier, the person, the groomer of young girls. Yes, and that's still on OpenSea. And so supporting a groomer who embraces pedophilia is perfectly fine, apparently, according to OpenSea. But if you're born in Venezuela, we're going to get rid of you right away. Okay. And then we have, I just had to put Audrey Hepburn. That's my new PFP right now. She's just got one eye. I still hate crappy PFPs. So that was, one of the original ones I started. That's how I got my feelings out. I hate 10K crappy PFPs, I hate them. There's no way around that. And then Eat the Influencers. That's a new one. I thought Billie Holiday, because she was a pure artist. So I focus also on historical figures who I think are pure artists, and they would probably be rolling over in their grave right now, maybe. And then I've got Joe Looney, creator of Rare Pepe Wallet. And he was, and that suit, I think, was made by Skrilla. I found all this out later, but anyway. And then we've got the 48-hour auctions. Let's start with Robness. And I wanted to document the time period where the Toter Corporation has issued DMCAs for all NFTs on OpenSea that have the word Toter in the title. It doesn't even matter if it's not related to trash art. They're now taking down everything with the word Toter in it in the title. So that's why AI, my vision of the future is that AI will start to be used as a tool to take down artists' things that they've created based on images and such. We've got Beatriz Ramos, the founder or co-founder of Data NYC. And she's a pure, my God. I mean, she even makes me feel weird about going to the market. She's like a purist. And Judy Mam of Data, co-founder of Data, she has a book out right now. We've got Mikkel, founder, Vertical Crypto Art, helping artists 24/7. I mean, the amount of work that she's doing for artists is amazing. People should really know about what she's doing. I mean, it's just incredible. Like, to commit yourself to artists and having an artist residency. It's quite amazing. Then we've got this Coinbase NFT one where I'm making fun of the whole flop of Coinbase. That was so funny when it's like shilling for 6 months straight and then it flopped. What the hell? Coinbase
Seriously.
NFT. And the fact that they didn't partner with anyone like that has historical roots in the ecosystem. They just went after all the crappy PFPs, right? I mean, I was overlooked, so fuck them. Okay. Okay. There's a little anger coming out because just like, come on, like, really? You're just gonna gloss over anyone with substance and just go for the most crass shit?
Oh,
Okay.
it was very gratifying to watch them fail. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't want him to fail, actually. I thought, well, it's gonna succeed, then I'll have to join it, was my gut feeling. Like, but I did troll them anyway because I didn't like how they were marketing themselves, like, incessantly, right? You like that they failed, huh? I mean,
Yeah, I felt the same as you did. I'm like, they're literally not tapping into anyone in the community at all. They're just cherry picking the projects that are doing the most volume and hoping that will attract everybody. I don't know. It was like
right.
the weirdest play.
I
Like,
know.
and they have so much money. You just wonder, like who recommended this strategy? Like is it that bad?
I know.
Over there?
It's those cheesy Silicon Valley dudes. So like if you contrast what's happening on object.com, I know one of the curators over there. Okay, a little backstory. She and I worked tirelessly on a benefit show for the Ukrainian artists when the war broke out. I found her on Twitter. She had this amazing thread of these artists, and her pics were amazing. And I said, I didn't even know who she was, and I messaged her. I said, hey, let's put a show together for the Ukrainian artists, right? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. And I didn't even know, we were total strangers. I just saw that she had a really good eye for picking out the artists. So I thought she could be the curator. I'll build the exhibition in my gallery and we'll just fucking do it. So we did it, like, instantly. And then I realized later she's one of the head curators on object.com. And I thought, oh, no wonder it's fucking kicking ass and it feels like an artist-centric place. It's because, I mean, it's not perfect, right? But she has a good sense about her. And you contrast that with these fucks on Coinbase NFT. They're not art curators. They don't understand artist needs. They just wanted to build a marketplace to make money, right? So they just went after the high volume fluff shit and it failed. It doesn't work. It wasn't for artists. So that tells you a lot. It's like the people who create the platforms need to understand artists' needs. The artists actually should be the ones helping to build the fucking platforms. It shouldn't be these Silicon Valley douchebags making these decisions for us. That will never work. And that's why if you go to Tezos and you can feel the difference, it's because the people running it, in my opinion, they understand artists, really. I mean, Kathleen she's awesome. Like, she was wonderful to work with. And guess what? That show that we put together, I actually reached out to a bunch of the mainstream NFT platforms. I mean, the magazines. Guess what? None of them covered it. Why? Okay, people don't understand like what type of shit I've been through, really. They don't understand like how much I see people being neglected, myself included. And it is the cause of anger. I'm not going to lie. I reached out to NFT Now. Nothing. I reached out to so many different magazines about NFTs, about this Ukrainian show that we put on for the Ukrainian artists. And like, I had nothing to do with the money. That was all handled by them. We had one NFT you could buy. It was really cheap so that, you know, you got all the art together and it would benefit the people that are being attacked, you know, in a war, and no one covered it. So there you go. There's your answer right there. If I don't do something to change the culture, it's going to rot. That's how I feel every day now. Like I have to do something. I have to include more people in the fun aspect, and also show people that I'm not going to fuck around anymore. Like, and I will call everyone out. That's the thing, is that I'm not going to, you know, I was mad about that. I'm not going to lie. I was angry that no one bothered to cover my story of how I was, me and Kathleen, the head curator of Object.com. No one gives a fuck about us. What is that about? Why?
But thank God that we have tools where we can make our own kind of announcements and spread our news, right?
It didn't go anywhere, though. It didn't go anywhere. That show went
again,
nowhere.
like it goes to the folks that listen for that, right? And if not everyone is listening for the realness, or like the real authentic news, or what really matters, like there's only so much we can do, but at least we have channels to let more people who wouldn't otherwise hear about that, who want to listen and find out information like that, to hear it, right? That's sort of like the silver lining to kind of the dross of the space and the shortcomings of the space, at least to me.
It's people's minds. It's not really the space anymore. It's just people's values. They value money over everything else, and that's what I see. That will lead to, you know, the hierarchies. They've shown over and over again, hierarchies are what leads to abuse of humans. That's what's going on. Like, there's a lot of the other side that you know, I see the other side because I'm a woman and I've been discriminated against. I see it. I feel it in ways that people have no idea. They think that, oh, it's Web3. No, it's not. It's not. It's whoever's in power decides what people see. And I'm going to change it. I have plans for this. I am going to change things on a mass scale. I am.
Oh yeah.
It's too important. The future, people's lives, artists. I mean, I see that artists can live in a way that they've never been able to live. And just that in and of itself is worth fighting for, and having people come join us, because this is, we're unique in that this is a time we've never had this before. Artists have always been at the mercy of middlemen, always. Like, this is a unique time. And so there's a lot of people that are advocating for artists' independence. And I think that movement is growing. I feel it. Like, there's now a large group of us that are all on the same page. And I see that movement is starting with the trash art movement. So that's the vehicle that I feel like is the strongest right now, as far as when people see that and they see people having fun, they want to be a part of it. And no gates exist for the trash art movement. I feel
Speaking
like
of the trash art movement too, you have Robness in that second cohort of the 48-hour auctions, right?
Yes, I've got Robness in there. I think I got a little off track. Empress Trash is what the next person I want to talk about too. She's one of these culture creators. She also helps people and provides, she's an amazing person. I've gotten to know her very well in the trash art movement right now. And she was already doing trash art before Robness. So there's a whole component of trash art that has nothing to do with Robness at this point. It's sort of growing this idea of artist independence. It's sort of the offshoot of that. Then we have Sparrow. I've just gotten to know all the different projects that she's involved in. She's, along with a couple other people, are building the platform tools for artists to use. Artist independence is a big thing for her. She's been in the space since forever. She was one of the artists in the Last Supper, the first NFT on async art, I believe. She's a coder. People probably don't know that she's a programmer. She's incredibly intelligent. She's starting a DAO, and I'm going to join that DAO because I trust her. So many DAOs are run by fools and idiots and morons, and she's not one of them. So I'm gonna probably get really involved with the platform and help bring that to light, because those people are actually the real deal as far as they're in it for the right reasons. They're creators anyway, so they know what needs we have, as artists, creators. And then there's Nilly Coins. 2014, she made her Nilly Coins is the project name. She's told me a lot about what's going on. She said, I don't know what I should say and what I shouldn't, but she's had people approach her and they wanted to, of course, pump her stuff. She's too smart for that. She knows what she's doing. And we've got Art Gnome and his Back Up Your NFTs. Art Gnome is funny. So I think that's all the 48-hour auctions. It's so hard for me to talk about this like in a sale way, but I'll be really curious to see. Like, that's why I've been, talking about this for a long time. I've been working on this art for months. I don't think people realize it's probably 2 months or something, at least a month and a half. I don't know when we decided to do it, but I literally been working on this stuff for months. Like, who's gonna take home Mikkel? I almost it's like I'm curious to see who will be wanting these people. Like, this is history, the descriptions tell you a lot of information that may be new to you. I don't think a lot of people know who Nilly Lerner is. I don't think people know who Sparrow is. Sparrow's one of those people that's in the background that people don't know about, but people should know about her because she's doing the right thing for artists and she has the right intention behind it. And that's a powerful thing when artists as an artist, you can find the people who are on your side already, who are not working against you or just to profit from you, I think is amazing. And then the two offensively low drawings, or of course we've got Logan Paul, and then we've got Guy Osiri. I think I don't know if you guys read that Substack, but it's called the NFT Celebrity Complex, and it shows all these relationships between the celebrities and MoonPay. And honestly, I had to sort of think about this for a long time because I don't want to attack someone unnecessarily, but I feel like out of all the people maybe in the NFT space, the one who's done the most damage is Guy Osiri. And the reason I say damage is because when you start pumping venture capital into projects that are, I wouldn't even call them art at this point. Like, I mean, World of Women is art, but it's more closely aligned to graphic design, in my opinion. When that is valued over visionary artists or, people who are like pushing the envelope as far as art goes, when those are the value system that you're pushing relentlessly in media, mainstream media, in celebrities, and that connection of foisting your investments onto mainstream culture and then affecting things in a mass way, that's the greatest amount of damage, in my opinion, because the message they're sending is not about creating, it's not about co-creating culture, it's about buying to define who you are, and having that bar set so high that 99% of the people cannot afford what they're pushing. That's a dangerous thing, in my opinion, because it then makes the NFT culture look like, oh, this is just an elite pyramid scheme which only the rich can afford. So now we're just back where we were before, and there's no difference between mainstream culture and NFT culture. Yeah. That's what I'm attacking, because I don't believe in that system that they're pushing.
Yo, agree.
Okay.
I mean, I assume you know I'm agree, which is somehow why I made it into your collection in the first place. Stellabelle, I know you wanted to talk about the Twitter Spaces. This is fantastic, seriously. I'll see you all in a sec. So Stellabelle, in preparation for this drop coming up on the 8th, I know I'm hopping in Twitter Spaces with you, and a bunch of other people are as well. Let's get the date out there for people who are listening, and why don't you give people like a rundown real quick on like what this Twitter Spaces is going to be about?
Okay, so the Twitter Spaces for my Nifty Gateway drop is August 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And it's not going to be the normal shill fest, because the speakers I'm going to have are going to blow your mind. I've invited a lot of the people that I painted. So confirmation, yes, we've got Rizzle, Judy of Data, we've got Art Gnome, we've got Mickle, Vertical Crypto Art, we've got Colburn of Mocha, and the French Mocha, I'm getting a reply back. I think that they're probably going to be traveling. They may be in. Empress Trash is going to be traveling. I don't know if she's going to be able to make it, but she's going to try. So we have sort of a star-studded group of people. And so the focus really, for me, I'm going to explain how the drop works, what time things are happening, which is, we never really discussed that, but it's 6:30 p.m. is when the auctions start, right, Matthew? And then 7 p.m. is when the 3 editions start, open editions, and they run for 77 minutes. And there's no cap as far as how many people can collect. And then the drawings start at what time again, Matthew?
The drawings start at 6:30 with the auctions too.
So the drawings and the auctions start at 6:30, and half of the auctions are 48 hours and half are 24 hours. And I'll be writing an article as well to explain everything in advance. But yeah, Twitter Spaces 1 p.m., which gives people well enough time to get their Nifty Gateway account, set up so they can buy.
There you go.
And I made that joke on Twitter, and I think it's so funny. Is that, you know what? Rizzle, you cannot be bought. It's like your speech, nothing about you can be purchased. And this is kind of a rare trait of yours. Like, even when you were speaking at VCon, and they fucked up your name by putting a Pepsi logo, you called it out. You can't be bought, even though you showed up and gave your presentation there. You still pointed it out.
No one is safe.
No one. But so that's why I made the joke. I said, this is your only chance to buy Rizzle. That's it. This is it. I thought it was so funny because it's just their only chance to buy you is.
I got it. I saw that this morning. I laughed.
It's so fucking funny. It's so funny that putting people up for sale. Yeah, it's almost, there's a part of me that was kind of hesitant. I thought, oh, I don't know if I should do this or not because I didn't ask permission. And one of my artist friends, I saw his thing on Twitter. He goes, I would never make art of people without asking their permission. And I thought, I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put them up for sale. Oh, it's not funny. I need to be transparent about one thing. Okay. Certain artists I've already worked out, I'm giving them half. And I have a way of doing this, whereas if someone's not rich, if they need money, then they'll get half. And I haven't worked out all this stuff, but I've made little arrangements with certain people, and that's part of the thing I haven't really figured out. But for two people, I've figured it out already. They get half. They get half of the profit from it. And I might, I'm very disorganized. I work on, it's like maybe I should have already figured that out for everyone, but I figured it on a case by case basis. But I need to be transparent about that. If someone needs money, then just tell me and I'll help you out. I mean, that's just how it works. So I may do things afterwards that.
Honestly, I don't feel like you have to apologize for organization or lack thereof. I mean, I feel like your like brutal transparency is why people trust you and what people appreciate about you. And, no one is out here thinking like, I mean, you're an artist who's like out here on the fringe doing your thing. Like, you're, if you really need someone to like get you organized like that, there are people who like specialize in that and everything. But like, I think a lot of the people who are seeing what you're doing just like genuinely appreciate your, going back to what you were saying in the beginning, the ability to cut through like all the societal like norms and filters and like bullshit and just like sort of cut right to like exactly what you're thinking and what you're feeling, which I think like it comes across to like everybody, like, or I shouldn't say everybody, but that subsection that you're trying to hit. Stellabelle, as we sort of like come in for a close here, one of the things that we love to do with all of our guests on the podcast is sort of like an intrusive like shakedown of their crypto wallet. Mostly we're just like interested in what other people are collecting or acquiring or interested in like beyond their own like personal projects and stuff. So what other stuff you got going on in your wallet these days?
My wallet? You want to know what I invest in myself? Is that what you're asking?
Not necessarily the term invest, but just in terms of like what you've been collecting or interested in or like supporting or investing, but I don't feel like those all necessarily go hand in hand.
In NFTs or just regular crypto?
Mostly NFTs, but you can throw in regular crypto. Yeah.
So on Trash Art Day, Tez Trash Day, I took a deep dive and to Tezos, and oh my God, I feel so good about everything now. I've been collecting a ton of art on there. I started out collecting Bronwyn Lorelei. She has the most raw art I've ever seen recently. She's also shadow banned on Twitter. But Lorelei, I've got a ton of her art. And then with the trash art thing, I've been just finding so many amazing new artists. I've been collecting there's so many of them. I can't even describe all the different artists. It's all kind of getting squashed up in my brain. Names. I can't come up with everyone's names right now, but I got a Miss Al Simpson yesterday, 2 of them on Tezos.
Oh yeah,
nice.
That was a big deal. I was scrolling on Object's Twitter and I noticed that they said Miss Al Simpson. I was like, fuck, I gotta get over there. So I got a couple Miss Al's on Tezos. I'm telling you, Tezos is shit right now, you guys. I mean, I know I'm
The shit. Not
it's
shit.
just it feels like it's being run by artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has that vibe. It's like the underground world that I thought, was possible. So I've made tons of new friends, more than the NFT investing. I feel like I've made all these new friends because it's like it feels good to be able to buy people's art. It's at a reasonable prices on there. So I can really become the art whale that I'm supposed to be on there. And you make friends by buying their art, and it spreads good vibes around. In fact, Miss Al Simpson bought one of mine. So
After you bought hers?
yes,
I
yes,
love
she bought
that.
one of mine. So I'm like, artists are buying from each other again. This is huge.
I
This
mean, they've
is
never stopped,
huge.
to be honest. But that whole point of buying art, and you're not just buying the art, like I don't know if this is because of NFTs or what. Maybe this existed in the traditional art world, but I suspect it didn't, since galleries like to play middlemen between artists and collectors and things like that,
Yes,
the profit
right.
motive. But now when we collect art, like, we're gaining this direct line to the artists themselves. Like, for me as a collector, it's one of the most amazing parts of the space. It's what's kept me here for years and years and years, and what makes me so long-term, like, excited just to remain here. Just like that, the richness of the relationships by themselves, to say nothing of the amazing art.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think in the whole scheme of things, I think Nifty Gateway is a very important piece. And when I asked, I said, "Well, how are you guys doing in the bear market?" Because I was wondering like what platforms are going to fold. After Known Origin was acquired by eBay, I started to wonder like, but I feel like Nifty Gateway is like really it's a good place for people that are just joining in. I feel like, a lot of people, I mean, they come from the fiat world, right? Nifty Gateway is like a place like at the entrance. That's
So
how
if
I see it. I don't know.
if Tezos and like Object and FX Hash are super approachable now because of the more affordable price points, right? And makes it like the
Hmm.
collecting experience that much easier for folks. Nifty Gateway is very similar in the sense that it makes it very easy for folks to collect. Whether you have ETH or you have a credit card, it's so easy to collect on Nifty
Right.
Gateway. You can
Right.
self-custody if you want after that, but it's just that easy point. And like, to your point, like, what
Hmm.
platforms will stay around? I mean, Nifty doing nearly $1 billion in market volume over like its history. Yeah, it just makes it that much stronger, and like a long-term kind of play for artists to take advantage of and use, since Nifty Gateway is just one platform of many, like one tool in the
Right.
artists.
Right. And it's owned by the Winklevoss twins, right? Isn't that the owners of Gemini?
Yeah,
Isn't that?
Gemini acquired Nifty Gateway a couple years ago, and then the
Yeah.
co-founders of Nifty Gateway, the Koch Foster twins, Duncan and Griffin, they're still at the helm within Nifty.
And then, yeah, so like if you go back to the Winklevoss story, it's like I like how they in the beginning, I don't know the whole story, but they had a falling out with Zuckerberg. And so like I always thought of them as a favorable to me. I don't know. I have like a weird way of thinking of stuff, but um I think that they're like, they're cool because they got involved in Bitcoin so early that I really have a lot of respect for like especially wealthy people that took a major gamble in the early days of Bitcoin. Like that was it was really sketchy. 2013. I don't know when I think they got in real early. So they're kind of like on the list of people that I remember they were in from the early days. So I
Hmm.
like that. I like that history of Nifty Gateway being connected to the people that got in early or something. It helps in my mind somehow, like with historical, things instead of, you know what I mean? I don't know.
100%. No,
They,
I love that
yeah.
sort of framing and thinking about that connection historically. And well, just to kind of put a point
Anyway,
on this conversation of ours, which has been awesome. I can't wait to go back and re-listen to it, honestly, because I know that
really.
there's so much, no, yeah,
I probably
truth
missed
bombs that you
some
dropped all
stuff.
over the place. And
Well,
but
it's funny because, like, I've been thinking about this for close to a year now, and so a lot of these things maybe people haven't heard before or haven't really thought about, but I'm sitting here over in the corner still thinking about stuff,
oh
trying
yeah,
to figure out ways to articulate it. Oh,
yeah,
I
and
have my
it's
mission
always
thing I want to read. Wait, I do have one thing that I
uh,
want to read, and I know we're kind of out of time, but I want to read this thing that I finally wrote. That it took me a long time to. Okay, here we go. Um, let's see. Oh, where is it? Shit. I wrote the mission. Oh, here we go. Okay, here it is. Here it is. So I've been thinking about all this stuff. This kind of like the fictional version of what I sense. So here it is. During the great 10K PFP apocalypse of 2021, Stellabelle's homeland was occupied by the NFT WAGMI people. It was a difficult life under WAGMI rule, filled with corruption, greed, and vapidity. The crypto artists looked for an artist who would liberate them from the oppressive rule of the WAGMI. Stellabelle documents the injustice of the WAGMI world around her in her magnificent CryptoStellas collection. Stellabelle promises to throw down the WAGMI rulers from their thrones and in the process lift up the forgotten crypto art saints of the past, present, and future.
there we go.
So,
Love it.
yeah, that's what I wanted to have in there. Because that's
Love that.
in a sense, that's kind of what I'm doing. And I know a lot of crypto artists now are doing like, historical crypto art projects. There's some that are, doing that. And what they do is they focus on the people that help build the space, which is wonderful. It's like they left out the other side. And so I want to cover both sides. I still have 600 paintings to go, mind you. So I don't know where it's going. I've got a whole list of people that I'm gonna do. So, I don't want people to feel like I'm left out. It's my perspective though. It's not accurate historically. It's from my little window of the world, what I feel and see, and everyone that comes in my radar, and it's going to be biased. There's no way around that. It's not an accurate description. It's a biased one based on how I feel. So, but anyway,
Totally.
yeah.
And
Do you have any other?
No, I just wanted to kind of remind folks to make sure on Monday, August 8th, make sure you pay attention. 1 p.m. is when Stellabelle is going to have the Twitter Spaces with a lot of the artists that are going to be featured in the CryptoStellas collection that she's going to be releasing on Nifty Gateway the same day, starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Nifty Gateway. And Stellabelle, I just want to thank you so much for your time and your passion and just, being you, so authentically you, and jumping on the Matthew and Rizzle show with Rizzle and myself talking about CryptoStellas. It was an absolute pleasure and very, very excited for Monday to come around.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you also taking all the time to help me figure out how to do the drop and all the pricing and stuff. That was very appreciated. Thanks for having me on the show. Rizzle, do you have any ending thoughts?
No, honestly, I mean, yeah, I guess sort of. No, I say no, but then I'll follow it with my thoughts, I guess. Honestly, just like very appreciative. I feel like I'm sort of repeating what I said earlier, but genuinely very appreciative of being included in your project, but also just your project in its entirety at all. I mean, I feel like it takes some guts and like a certain personality to put themselves out there and be willing to accept criticism and take some shots and stand up for what they believe in. And feel very fortunate to be included, to have met you, and to have become friends, over the past year or so, or whatever it's been. And also appreciate you hopping on the podcast with us as well. So it's been awesome. Genuinely appreciate everything, and looking forward to seeing how this all goes down. However, this value is assigned to all this shit, who knows, man? But it'll be fascinating to see it play out.
I know. I'm so excited to see like who's gonna get the open editions and like which ones. I mean, it's gonna be it's gonna be weird, isn't it, to see yourself up for sale?
Totally. Totally.
And to see who collects you as a person.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna have to have a post drop show where we kind of talk about what happened.
Yeah,
because Empress Trash, she can't make the original one, so I'll set that up in advance because I think it'll be worth like discussing what happened. Like, thank you so much again. I appreciate it. I appreciate both of you so much. So I'll see you on Twitter Spaces.
Yeah. Cool.
And at the whip on Thursday too.
Yes.
Sweet.
That's right.
All right.
There we go.
It'll be like a solid week of Stellabelle.
Oh my God.
Podcast, whip, Twitter Spaces, drop. It'll be dope.
That's how we do it. Cool.
All right.
y'all.
It'll be fun. It'll be historic, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
For sure.
All right. Thanks so much again. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Peace.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this week's episode. Just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Proof of Beauty. Proof of Beauty is an experimental digital experience studio. The blockchain is their canvas and the tokens are their brush. You can learn more about Proof of Beauty by checking out pob.studio. You can follow them on Twitter as well at PRRF Beauty. That's PRRF Beauty on Twitter, and pob.studio on their homepage to learn more about their projects like Hash, London, and Publico. Thank you, and see you in the next episode.